Hey everybody, TS Hawkeye here with another retro toy review. Today we're going to talk about Mystero. Go into a little bit of history before we talk about the figure. Quentin Beck. For the life of me, it escapes me when he debuted. But he's an old school Stan Lee Spider-Man villain. He was in the Sinister Six. He's been around for a long time. I'm going to get the figure. So, I'm just going to send it. Anyway, he's been around for a long time. Most notably, he is going to be played by Jake Gyllenhaal in Spider-Man Far From Home. So let's talk about the figure. First off, he looks good. Sculpt. I can't fault the sculpt at all. He's got great articulation. I'll talk about my issues with it after I show you the articulation. So, foot on a pivot, up and down. He has got the calf articulation, the double jointed knees. He's articulated on the thigh, on the hip. He turns at the waist, bicep, shoulder with a turn, arm, elbow joint, and articulation on the wrists. The only problem I have with this figure, and I'm going to fix it after this review, is his cape doesn't sit like on the body. It's underneath. I've taken it off. I'm going to take it off and glue it, because this isn't a figure that really needs to look side to side. He's got a fishbowl, Oh, and again, I really hope you can see it, but there are even eyes, sculpted there. He's got the, he looks like he's right out of the comic. But again, the only issue is, like, his cape is so loose. So, as I said, because I'm going to glue it, I pulled the cape off. Well, I mean, I've talked about the issues with Spider-Man villains. This is one of the better ones. Underneath his cape, he has a chameleon head. That's going to pop off. I'm just going to glue the cape so it stays standard, and then it's a perfect figure. So, but because the cape's off, the green chameleon head turns side to side, up and down. But you don't need that on a Mystero figure. Mystero's got the fishbowl. You don't know if he's looking at you. You don't know if he's looking sideways, or, he could be reading texts. You never know. So, again, this is one of the, one of the better Spider-Man villains they've released. I've talked about Doc Ock. I've talked about the Sandman. Mystero's the third. Spider-Man villains, I'm always going to buy. You know what I mean? Being a customizer, I'm going to fix them if I can, for my purposes. And again, just the cape not sitting that well is me nitpicking. And that's all right, because that's what I think about it. It's a good figure if you can pick it up. Like I said, it's a good Spider-Man villain. And again, it's a Stan Lee. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. It's a Stan Lee villain. So, it's I read some reprints and just the stuff that Steve Ditko did. Rest in peace, Steve Ditko. But it's I like him. You know what I mean? I like the villain. I like the sculpt. Very, very minor issues with it. It's a lot of articulation, a lot of detail. So definitely, you like Spider-Man villains, you like Marvel. Oh, Jesus, get it. So, this is a total, get the figure. All right. Have a great night. TS Hawkeye, playing with toys. Keep on collecting.